There we are. Hello, guys and girls. I thought I already added us to the stream, but I guess it didn't. So, thank you so much for being here. My name is Maurice, and I am here with my good friend John on this weekly podcast of the Mentoring Man that we're actually doing on Sunday every week. Now, this week we had kind of like the time zone issue going on because John is in Tampa, Florida, or not Tampa, it's Naples, right?
Naples, Florida.
Naples, right? And I'm in the Netherlands, so we are about 6 hours apart. But then I don't know why, but the United States decided to do the whole daylight saving time thing a week earlier than we do. So we actually, he called me an hour ago, like, dude, where are you? I said, wait. I thought we were okay. So well,
We
I
got to do
scheduled
things
the
different
call.
around here.
Yeah. It's always the same with those Americans, right? They're like gallons. I don't even know how much a gallon is. It's like big, I know, but why don't work
Five
with
bucks,
liters or
$5 a gallon
kilometers?
right now.
The gas. How much is that?
$5 a gallon.
I have no clue if that's a lot or not, right?
It's
We
a
pay
lot.
€2 per
It's a
liter
lot.
or 250 something. Yeah,
It's
same
almost
here.
double. It's almost double what we were paying a month ago.
Yeah, it's same here. Same here. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the life. I mean, the world is on fire, so there are a lot of things happening there. So we really want to dive in not so much on the world problems, but on your own problems, because how do you go on with shit that happens in our lives as well? If you read the news every day, you get really upset. I mean, there's so many things happening. I'm not even talking about the past 2 years, right, from COVID with everything that's going on, and do we have to take the medicine or the shots? I mean, not let's not even go in there, right? We don't want to talk politics here, and of course, it's very terrible what's happening right now with the war in the Ukraine. But I mean, even if there are these big world problems, you can't solve them, right? Unless you're like some hotshot guy somewhere in the government, you can maybe do something about it. But most of you guys aren't in that position, so we also have just sometimes to accept that things are as they are and just focus on what we can do, right? I don't want to downplay anything and how bad it is, of course. And if you can do anything, do raise money or whatever, right? There are a lot of things you can do, but let's focus on us first. If you are not in order, if there's something wrong with you, if you don't live the happy life that you should live, if you don't live the life you should live, then let's start just there, right? That is what is within your control, even more than you might think. So that's what this podcast is about. So I'm very, very cool that you're here. Now, if you have a question, if you have a comment, if you want to react to something that we talk about here on the show, just leave us a comment down below, right below this video. It is within this group. You can also watch the episodes on themasteringman.com. You can find it over there. So thementoringman.com, I have to say. You can watch the replays there as well. But of course, it's all been done here live within the group here on Facebook. So if you're watching live, and I know you guys are there, so shout out, give us a hearts, give us some comments, and anything you'd like to share with us on this topic. And of today, the subject, you see it passing by down the page below, how life-changing things can really screw things up, right? And how to fix that. That's pretty much the big question, of course. And there are, we talk about things that we relate to, right? Things that we went through ourselves, John and I, or things that we really we can live it, right? We've been there. We've helped people with it. So that's why we're the mentoring men, right? We are mentoring other guys with this and girls on how to fix their things in their lives. But most of these things, we're just humans, right? We're all human beings, and we all have to go through parts in our life where it's not going so well. And how do you cope with that? So we really want to dive into that today. If you have any questions, like I said, put it down in the comments. We can put it up there as a screen as well. So don't be a stranger and let us know what you think. So yeah, John, you want to tell us a bit about your experience on that matter?
Well, I love the title here. How life-changing events can screw you up, right? Is a real polite way of saying, what do you do when shit hits the fan?
Yeah.
I'm an
Yeah.
American. I'll say it. I don't give a shit. I don't care. When shit hits the fan, what do you do? Well, we've
Exactly.
all had that happen in the work life, in relationship life, with our kids, um, all kinds of experiences that each one of us has. And how do you deal with it? You start by See, now that
But what kind of things
now
are we
that
talking about? I mean, let's not dive right
well,
into
I
what
got
you do, but
my divorce came out of nowhere.
right,
Okay, I was blindsided.
hmm,
Um, I've lost jobs in the past.
right,
I've experienced that. My oldest kids are 14 and the boys are 10. So I really haven't really hit the teenage years yet. So I'm sure there's more stuff coming that's going to blindside me. And, one of the things that I'm consciously aware of now is the meaning that I'm giving it. Really what is going on here. I've gotten to a point in my life now where I am able to step out of the situation, to step out of the emotion in the moment and say, all right, give me a minute. Let me process this. Let me really think about what's going on here.
yeah,
Excuse me. And what's the best course of action?
yeah,
Okay. You lose a job, right? Your company downsizes or whatever the case may be. I've experienced that too. I felt that in my life.
yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
And sometimes you
I
just
actually,
plain get fired.
it's kind of like a funny story. I had my birthday going on, and the next day my boss calls me and said, "Hey man, how are things? Yeah, yeah, it was good. How was your birthday? Yeah, it was a great party. Blah blah blah. It was all fun." I was all like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He said, "Yeah, well, great. Well, I got some bad news because we're like pulling the plug, so you're out of a job at the end of the month." I'm like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah, really.
It can happen that quickly, yeah. So
I had a
and that's an
girlfriend.
interesting thing because what I really learned from that is that the job security, right, that we're all going after, like, oh, you got to find. I mean, my parents told me that, right, when I was younger. Go find a job, build a career, and you have a steady income, and it's all good, it's all safe. Well, to a certain level, it is, right? I mean, there's still so many things that can happen and can go wrong, so you can still lose your job even though you're having a good job, right?
Yeah, but that mentality is 40, 50, 60 years ago. The world is a different place now. I actually had a girlfriend
Sure.
break up with me on my birthday. That was a
Oh,
shot.
really?
I took a hit on
Yeah,
that one. Let me tell you, I took a big hit. That sucked. But
yeah.
you get past it. You do your thing.
How do you get past it? I mean, it eats you up, right? Something happens like
It
that,
pulled me up
and I
something
mean,
bad.
it's going down. You feel depressed. You don't want to eat, and when you eat, you just eat ice cream and chips and all unhealthy shit, right? How do you get over that? How do you reset that part of your brain where say, okay, it happened, and not dwell in the past? What's the secret there?
Well, I was 18 or 19 when that girl broke up with me on my birthday. And, my father was like, look, if she's not smart enough, she doesn't deserve you anyway. And that kind of helped a little
Sure.
bit. But, I was still feeling the sting. Um, but it took a little while to get over it. I had to have the pity party. And,
Yeah.
it lasted a little bit longer than it should have, I think, but I was able to get up and move on after a while. But now, because I'm older and I've got different experiences, when something goes sideways, when something happens, I'll still have the pity party, but I'll do it for a day. And then I get back up and I get right back into it. You have to
Yeah.
make a choice. You have to decide what the meaning is here. Okay. Some people come into your life for a lifetime. Some people come into your life for a day.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
And so, what can you learn from this? What can you take from this? So that person wasn't the one for you, or you weren't the one for her, or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. That's fine. But what did I learn
Yeah. But
from it?
I mean, you can just quit your feelings, right? I mean, it could be the feelings of the loss of someone, or it could be the feeling of, am I not good enough? And you see, I'm just not good enough for this, or whatever. I mean, whatever the feeling is, that feeling is real, right? How can you stop that?
For me, sorry. For me, it's about the meaning. Now it's about the meaning that I'm giving it. What actually happened here? I think there's a level of maturity you reach at a certain point where you can actually not have, in the current case of a breakup or a case of a loss of a job, where you can not have that nuclear meltdown and stay in that pity party for months or weeks or whatever it is. Um, you get to a certain point where you can handle it. You can deal with it. Okay, fine. I'm more mature now than I was. But
Mm,
again, I will still sit there and diagnose it. We all do. We all do.
sure.
But now I'm looking at a different way. Instead of saying what's wrong with me, that she broke up with me, now it's wrong. What's wrong with her? And she didn't see my value. She didn't see my worth. I'm flipping the
Yeah.
question now. Okay.
Yeah. I
Instead of
think
saying
it's
why me,
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important that you cut the rope from yourself, right? It's not all your fault, right? Now, I do think that we are responsible of the reality we create, right? So everything you have currently going on in life, whatever it is, has something to do with the actions you took in the past, right? But that's just what it is. You only have a result coming from something you did in the past. And sometimes things happen to you, right? If someone else decides it's not going to work and they break up, well, sure, you can reflect on, okay, what what's my part in this, and what could have I done differently, or something like that. Is there something I could have done? So that little introspection of retrospection, I think that's also a good thing to start. And acknowledging the pain and acknowledging the feelings, right? That's an important part. I mean, you don't stuff it away. Let it go out and let it happen, because the pain and the bad feelings are a signaling function. And I truly believe that these kind of feelings are a signaling function of showing that you are not on your right path right now, right? So whenever you got a bad feeling, it's not aligned with what you really want. That's what pain or sorrow or negative emotions are, right? They're not aligned with what you
When you're
really
not
want.
aligned. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that alignment is something you could focus on, and then you change your perspective from, oh, this happened in the past and it was bad. Of course, you can miss someone, and you can miss the situation. I got the same situation going on right now, right? You guys know I just came back a month ago from Switzerland. I was there with a woman, lived there with her and her son, right? My life was totally different. So of course I miss that, right? Of course I have, good thoughts and good memories of that situation, and also bad memories on the things that went wrong. But focusing on that doesn't bring me forward, right? So having an introspection and a retrospection on what was my role in it, what did I learn from this, so what can I change in who I am and how I act and how I think and how I create my new reality of tomorrow, instead of dwelling in the past and staying there, right? Because that's not going to change. Does it make any
Well,
sense?
yeah, absolutely it does. Now, but we're also dealing with different situations are going to hit you in different ways. If it's a girlfriend, and you and your girlfriend split up, great, you've gone two separate ways. There's no residual. There's no residual anything hanging back unless you keep it there. But
No, right.
when I got divorced, we had four kids.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we are still connected even though we're not together.
Yeah,
So, but I had to do a lot of it was the divorce that really got me to get my head out of my ass and realize
sure.
something in my life has to change. This is not where I wanted to be. And I've told this story before on our show that that when we split up, it appeared to me that all of her girlfriends kind of rallied around her, and she was okay, but I was kind of on my own. The
Yeah,
guys would say to me, "Come on, let's go out. We'll get a drink. We'll hook you up with somebody." That's not what I needed. That's not what I wanted. I wasn't sure what I did need or want, but I knew that
yeah,
wasn't it. So
yeah,
I had to do the introspection. I had to do the learning and the growing. I went deep into me, and I realized, yeah, there were some things that I could have done a lot better, but I also accepted the fact that this was not totally my fault. Now,
yeah.
and I'm going to say this, and it's not about blame, all right?
No,
But
right,
follow me on this. When I talk to her, it's still all my fault. She
right,
has not left that place.
right,
I have. And when I
right,
see her now, there's still anger and all whatever it is you want to call it. And I feel
right.
for her. I feel for her because I have changed. I have grown. I have gone up to the next level for me. And I
Yeah,
just see her still down there hurts me because
yeah,
we have
sure,
kids. Because we
sure.
have kids. So when we talk about the triad, right? Physiology, focus, and meaning. How you use your
Hmm.
body, the words that you use, the meaning that you give them. What is it you're focused on? You have a
Could you
you have
could you repeat that like a little slowly, for people who don't know that?
okay. Physiology, focus, and meaning. It's called the triad. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a triangle. Think about a triangle. One side is physiology, the way you use your body. The other side is focus. What is it you're focused on? Is it this is the end, or is it the beginning? Does this
Yeah.
suck, or is it the start of something new? And what words are you using? I can't do that. or yes, I can do that. You know, so physiology, focus, and meaning. You change any one of those three things, you change your entire experience. You change your in that event,
Yeah.
and you can change your entire life with that as well. But
Yeah.
follow me on this. You have a triad for your job: physiology, focus, and meaning. You have a triad around your relationship or lack thereof. You have a triad around your children. You have a triad around your parents, if you're lucky enough to still have them. You have a triad around your friends. There are so many different areas of life, and each one of them is affected by the physiology, focus, and meaning that you
Yeah.
give to that situation. So
Yeah.
this is where this, if you need to pull yourself up from the bootstraps, if you need to get off the ground and start moving again, start living again, you need to think about, how am I using my body? If you're depressed, your shoulders are down, you're facing the ground, you're talking to the floor, you're very soft spoken, you're not looking into the camera. Whereas if you're somebody who's strong and proud of yourself, and you know what, I got this, and I don't have to tell, and I don't need anybody's permission, I don't need anybody's approval, I got this. You can see it. The shoulders are back, the chest is out, they're talking to the camera or to whoever, their voice is rock solid. What are they focused on? Oh man, this is gonna suck. Or are they gonna focus on, hey man, I got this. This is a piece of cake. I own this. It's already mine. I got it. I just got to go get it.
Yeah.
And what words are you using? That bitch. Or are you using, you know what? It didn't work. We're both responsible for it, but I'm a man, and I can actually move forward, and I can own when I'm wrong. Can you apologize when you're wrong? What words are you using? And this applies to every different area of your life. So you can get out of the when something blindsides you.
Yeah.
And this is just the stuff that blindsides you.
Yeah.
Okay. A death in the family. You still have to, you're going to grieve, but it's a different triad. It's a completely different process. It's separate from work, separate from your kids. It's something new now that you haven't had to deal with in a while, maybe. But what happens if you're planning on making a major life change?
I just want to go back a little bit, John. Of course, we are guys, we're men, right? So we have our process way of doing things, which is, might be different than women. And this triad model, does it apply to women as well? Then is it the same thing?
Absolutely, it applies to every human being, because all of us, every human being on this planet, has the same 6 human needs.
Sure. Yeah.
Certainty. There's a place in your life where you need to be sure of something. You need to be certain. Okay. If this roof I'm sitting on a balcony in my apartment. If this roof wasn't going to hold up, I wouldn't be under here. I know this roof isn't going anywhere. I'm certain of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then there's variety, uncertainty, right? Variety is the spice of life. Because if you were certain of everything all the time, you'd be bored to tears. There'd be nothing exciting, nothing to, get you fired up about, right? Because we all like surprises, right? So certainty, uncertainty. The second one is significance. Everybody needs to feel important to somebody. Significance is huge. And when you're dealing with a relationship and you're not feeling that significant, guess what? Relationship isn't going to last that long. Yeah. Then there's love and connection. Everybody wants to feel love, to be loved, to give love, and a connection. Even if you're just friends, there's a connection there. It doesn't have to be romantic love, it's just a friendship. Okay?
Yeah.
Those are the needs of the physical person. Those are the needs of your personality. There's 2 more: growth and contribution. Those 2 needs are the needs of the spirit. Every single human being has the same 6 needs, but in a different order.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, for example, there's actually a test you can take. And if anybody's interested, reach out to me and I will send it to you. There's an actual test. It's really cool to see this, because I was not prepared for what I found. I always wanted to be important. I always wanted to be, the one who was accepted by everybody, because for so many years of my life, I wasn't. Then I took this test and I found out my top 2 needs are the needs of the spirit: growth and contribution.
Oh, wow.
And it blew my mind, and it completely put me on a different path than the one that I thought I was on. Yeah. The reason I've been miserable for so long is because I was on the wrong path, and I had to change something. I ended up changing everything.
Yeah.
But yes, it applies to men and women. Huh? Say again?
That's the way to do it. Just do it all, right? I do think that sometimes you need to have kind of like a reset, right? Go back to the foundation. It's an old proverb, I guess, from somewhere in China, or I don't know, but in Eastern wisdom, that sometimes to make the right change, you gotta like destruct your home and build a new home from your foundation. So
Yes.
that is something sometimes you need to do, especially with the big things, right? Like a divorce and things like that. I totally relate to that in my own divorce back like 10 years ago. Yeah, so I guess the biggest call out here today is pretty much like this happens to everyone, right? It can happen to everyone, and it can be different things. It doesn't matter if you find anything important in your life and that stops existing in your reality, then you got a problem, right? Then we feel a problem. Then, and if it's your job or it's a relationship or anything else, it can hit hard. And we have to own the situation as it is. And I really think it's important to understand that there are three time frames, right? There is the past, there is the present, and there is the future. And we've got to work with that, right? We can't change the past because that happened and that's just how it is. The reality, the now, the present is the only thing that is real, that's like actual tangible, where you can do stuff, right?
Hmm.
But you can also be there. I mean, we are human beings, right? We're not human doings, we're human beings. So we also have to accept that we just have to be sometimes. And when you start feeling and start accepting that this is the situation where you are, then you can, plan towards the future and say, okay, what did I learn from the past? What can I project to the future? Where do I want to go? What are my goals? What are my dreams? Where do I want to go? And then go make it happen, right?
Yeah. See, it's funny because I've been thinking about this a lot. We've been divorced. Well, we were divorced long before we got divorced, but I've been in this
Yeah.
apartment probably 2.5 years ish, something like that. And I haven't been involved with anybody. And I'm starting to get the itch again. And I
Right.
started to think about what went wrong with my marriage and what am I not going to allow again?
Right.
Think about the words that I just used. I'm not
Mhm.
going to allow that to happen again. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to whoever she is in the future, that girl that I haven't
Yeah.
met yet, that woman I
Yeah.
haven't met yet. Okay. But she's out there. I'll find her. She'll find me. Something will happen. We'll get together, and it's going to be wonderful because my ex and I, we were not present. We weren't there. We were physically next to each other, but we were
Right.
emotionally just, we went that way.
Disconnected.
And
Yeah.
we weren't there for each other. We weren't present. And that's what you need in a relationship is the presence. Both of you do.
Sure.
Both of us do.
Of
Women
course.
and men.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's so
So
much to do in relationships, right? We can. I mean, there are people who did the PhD on all that, so that there's so much to tell about relationships itself. So it's not an easy thing, right? And that's interesting because I am, particularly working in the dating scene and with guys who really like to understand how attraction works and how relationship works and how to find a woman and to approach, etc. And these are things we've never learned, right? And I keep wondering why that is. There's so many things that later in life you kind of like realize, wait, why didn't anyone taught me this, right? Why didn't I learn this at school about how things like that work, how relationships work, how communication works, how finances work, right? You just gotta like figure it out yourself, go flat on your face, and then try to pick yourself up again.
we're going to get off topic here real quick, but I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I think the problem. I don't know about anywhere else in the world because I, really haven't traveled that much in my life. But at least in the U.S., this is my own personal opinion, and I could be wrong. They're teaching the kids what to think, but they're not teaching the kids how to think. And I think the
Yeah.
teachers are frustrated and pissed off
Yeah.
because they know what the kids need to know, but they're not allowed to do it because of some bullshit arbitrary rule somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
There
Well, there
needs to
are
be
these
a
days
different
where
kind
I'm
of
really like,
curriculum.
yeah, there are these days that I really have to think, wow, this is very good that I now know how the cosinus works, right?
Right.
No,
Now we're talking
no,
about things that events that can screw you up and events that can change
yeah,
things. Well, we can change things for the better too.
yeah,
A life-changing event isn't something that always happens to you. It happened for you.
yeah.
Okay.
I
I
think
would
that too.
never be where I am right now if we were still married. And I understand that. And as hard as that is for me to say, because look, let's be honest. we're guys, okay? We have a hard time with emotion in general. It's just not something we were brought up with.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, women, when it comes to understanding and feeling and experiencing emotions, women are light years ahead of us. Guys, we got some catching up to do. And I know that men, as a general rule, think that that's a sign of weakness. But the biggest fear a man has is to appear weak in front of the person that he loves. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a man's biggest fear. But you know what? When you get in touch with that emotional part, there's a strength there. And I can honestly tell you that because I've lived it. I've gone through it. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm far more in touch with things than I ever was before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I just lost my train of thought there for a second. Oh, my ex. We have 4 kids together. And the truth of the matter is, my kid, and this is me talking, all right? My 4 kids are the greatest blessing I have ever had in my life.
Yeah.
My ex-wife gave me the greatest gift I have ever had in my life. How could I not always have some kind of love for her somewhere in my heart? What kind of man would I be if I didn't have some kind of love for her somewhere? I mean, we're never getting back together again. I get that, but I don't hate her. She gave me the greatest gift I ever got in my life. She gave me my kids. What kind of man would I be if I didn't respect her and love her for that, at least? Okay?
Yeah.
So, you know, when we got divorced and a life event happened and my life got completely derailed, but I changed the way I looked at it. I changed the way I looked at it. This is literally the steps. What I'm telling you guys right now is literally what I did. I changed my physiology. I changed the words I used. I changed the focus. What am I focusing on here? How can I make me better?
Yeah, but you need 2 parties to do that, right? If your ex isn't doing that, then what do you need to do? I mean, you can only do so much, right? From yourself. I've seen it as well, very close.
Yes.
In my situation, where an ex and like 2 exes, like they really like fought, right? They really hated each other, and one saying, I try to be the best as I can, etc. The other one is doing stuff to really get under your nails, right? Really like fucking you up. So how do you cope with things like that, right? Right?
She is not in the place that I'm at. Okay. I don't know if she's going to get there. I hope she will. But the other thing, and this is going to sound selfish, but it's not selfish. It's actually self-respect. Guys, listen to me. Ladies, listen to me. Your ex's happiness is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is your happiness. Okay? Yeah. I'm only responsible for my happiness, not anybody else's. It sounds selfish, but it's not. It's self-empowering. Yeah. It's empowering. Okay? She can try anything she wants to get on my nerves. And I'm sure I get on her nerves too. Okay? And I don't honestly, look, it sounds like I'm bad-mouthing her, and I'm not. The truth is, she's not a bad person. All right? She's just not, she chose to stay where she was once we got divorced. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. That's on her. She'll turn that around at some point in her life. Something will happen and she will move past that stage. I hope it happens soon for her, for me, and for the kids. But I'm not putting her down. I'm just making an observation that I'm in a different place than where she was, than where she is, rather. So it's easier for me to deal with. It's easier for me to deal with.
Yeah. So the only thing you can do is actually focus on yourself then, right? Just go with what you can do.
To be the best version of me that I can be. What can I change? How would the man that I want to become do the thing that needs to be done?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question.
And what needs to be done? I need to keep the peace. Maybe that's it. I need to be the best father that I know how to be.
Yeah.
I need to be the best human being, the best man that I know how to be. I need to learn the lessons from the failure of my marriage so my next relationship doesn't end up the same way.
Yeah.
What would the person that I want to become do in this situation? What would that person do?
Yeah, I think there you
reflect.
Yeah, I think you're touching on a very, very important point there. I like to call it, our personality is responsible for our reality, right? So you create your reality with your personality. And who do you want to be? that is your personality, right? Your personality is the thoughts you think, the actions you take, and the feelings you have, and those three combined are is your personality, right? So if you want a different result, if you want a different reality, you need to change things in the way you think, how you feel, and how you act, and that's changing your personality. So the question is, who do you want to become? Is I guess the best question you need to find an answer for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is an individual choice, but it requires individual action. It
Yeah,
requires action. Guys, if you are not where you want to be for whatever reason, you got blindsided, something knocked you off the rails,
whatever it is.
you
Yeah,
have to make the change. You
yeah,
have to do the inner work. That's
yeah,
where that's where everything changes, is when you change. Okay.
yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
mean just change the word, change your heart, change your spirit, change it's everything. It's not just one thing, it's everything. And here's
Yeah,
something else. Here's something else. We've just been talking about the things that are thrown at you. My ex-wife wanted a divorce. We've both been fired, Maurice, from different jobs for whatever reason.
yeah.
What if you're the one who wants to make the change? What if
Oh
you're the
yeah,
one who wants the divorce? What if you're the one who wants to retire? That's a major life change. Okay.
yeah,
What
yeah.
if you're the one that wants to leave the relationship? Are you
But how do
going
you?
to do it in a way that destroys her soul? Or are you going to be a man about it? It's a choice. It's the word
Well,
you
it's not
use
only being a man about it, but it's being honest to each other and being
to each
respectful to
other.
each other, right? Yeah.
That's
Even if you're a woman watching this, I don't want to just focus this on the man, but it doesn't matter who you are. The change you want to make, you can think about, what will be the effect to the others. And I think a lot of people do that actually, which makes it so difficult to make such a difficult decision, right? When do you quit? When do you stop fighting for something and decide, it's over, I'm going to do something else? Even in your job, or when you're starting a business, or when is the moment you're going to give up and try something else, right? That's always a difficult question.
and it's scary to do something like that. It's scary to make that change,
Sure.
because for whatever reason, even though you were maybe it was not a great relationship or not a great job, but there was a comfort zone there. And you finally got to the point where enough, I have to get, this is no longer comfortable. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. So it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that. But you know what? If you're being true to yourself, your morals, your values, your principles, you got no reason to be sad about it. You got every reason to be proud of yourself. So instead of sitting, oh my God, I know I broke her heart. What was I thinking? Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. You know what? I stood up for me.
Yeah.
What words are you using?
Yeah. Exactly.
What are you
Yeah.
focusing on?
Yeah.
Really?
Good stuff,
That's
man.
the
Good
key to this.
stuff.
That's the
Yeah.
key to this.
Yeah,
Looking
I
at
totally agree.
and look at it from her perspective. And ladies, look at it from his perspective. What do you think your partner is going to see, think, feel, hear, say, whatever, when you decide that the relationship's over?
Yeah. Or
Try to
whatever
put it
situation.
so if you can put yourself in that person's shoes, how would that person want you to approach it?
Yeah.
What would
Yeah.
be less painful for that person? Can you be adult enough to approach it that way, so it's not
Yeah.
a brutal, just destroying the person's soul for the rest of her life, or
Yeah.
year, or
Yeah.
his
And
life,
I
or whatever
and,
it is.
and again, I think a lot of people do know that, right? The
Inherently,
default.
we inherently know that, but are we living it?
Yeah.
Are we
I mean,
consciously
the
making
default.
that choice?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But the default statement, like it's not me, oh, it's not you, it's me. It's like dude, come on. But it is about you, right? And
It
and
is.
being the respectful man or woman going on in that situation is the hard question, how to handle those. And then you have to fall back on the values you have, right? What are your values and how do you going to handle that? And that's not easy, but it is simple to do, right? And making those decisions is maybe the hardest ones, but they are the best for you. Again, when you're not feeling right, that's a signal, right? It's a signal you're not aligned with your future, with your real you. So you have to change something, and doesn't matter if it's a relationship. It can be your job, or even being part of a sport group or club or whatever it is, if you want to proceed, if you want to go further, even though you've been doing it for 10 years, it doesn't say anything about the next 10 years, right? So yeah.
And remember, your past does not equal your future unless you let it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it could be time.
Yeah. And talking about time, it's time to wrap this up, right?
Yeah,
so we've been talking for more than half an hour already about this stuff, and it's crazy stuff. It's important to really go back into yourself, and I think the journey inside yourself is the most important one there, right? Just stop being the victim of the situation, because that doesn't bring you anywhere, right? In the beginning, it might be easy and like, oh, it's everyone's fault, it's their fault, and she did this or he did it, but that's not going to solve anything. It's not going to make you feel any better, right? Because it takes you out of like any responsibility to make the change you really want. And the moment you start acting like that, okay, so I didn't like what happened here, and I'm pissed about it, or I'm sad about it, or I'm depressed about it. Give it a couple of days, give it a couple of weeks even, right? Doesn't matter. But you got to disconnect from that past and start focusing on the present and the future, and see what you can actually do today to make it work. Yeah.
Cool stuff, I'm not telling anybody don't feel the emotions. Cry.
No,
damn it, cry. It hurts. Don't be afraid to cry. Let it out. Scream into the pillow. Beat the hell out of the bed. Do what you have to do. But don't stay there. Don't stay there. You're allowed to feel. Just don't stay there.
Exactly. Right? Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you, bro.
And we'll see you guys. Thank you for watching. If you got any questions, if you're watching this even after we've done this live in the replay, no worries. Put down your questions there and we can answer them in the group. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. Take care, everybody.
Take care.